Hey, okay, so you're gonna need a mini band and dumbbells for day one. The first two exercises are your band side step squat and chest fly, and you're gonna superset those together. You're gonna do 10 side band step squats. So you're gonna take the mini band, place it just above your kneecaps, and then you're gonna do just like what it says. So you're gonna do a side step, and then you're gonna come into a squat, come back together, and then step the other way, squat, and come together. And so that's one rep. You're gonna do 10 of those. So step out, come down, together, step out, come down, together. Out, squat, out, squat. So from the side, out, squat, out, squat. So make sure as you do your squat, you're sitting your butt back. Make sure you're not hinging forward like this. Make sure you're not letting your knees, don't let your knees cave in. You want to keep the pressure against the band. And then you also want to make sure that as you go into your squat, you're not overarching your back, you're not rounding, and you want to make sure that your knees are staying over your ankles. So once you do 10 to each side, then you're going to take that off. You'll come down to the floor for a chest fly, or if you have a bench, you can lay on a bench and do your chest fly. You're going to do 12 of these. So taking your dumbbells. For these, less is more, so just come out a little bit and then come back up, squeezing up at the top. So coming out nice and controlled and back. If you're on the floor, you could technically bring your elbows all the way down, tap them to the floor, and come back up. If you're on a bench, you want to make sure that you're a little more cautious. This one can, if you go too far, can create problems in your shoulder. So I really would either say definitely do it on the floor so you can't go too far, or just really be sure that when you're doing that fly, as you're coming out, only go out till you kind of feel that stretching in your chest, and then use those muscles to pull you back together. So you're going to do 12 of those. Then you'll go back and do each of those 2 to 3 more times. Then you're going to go to your traction lunge. So all that means really is that you're using traction in your feet as you do your lunge. So your one foot's forward, your other foot's back, so you're going to stay in a stationary position, and you're going to be pulling whatever leg you have forward. That heel is dragging back towards your back leg, and then your back leg is pulling towards your front leg. So you're pulling everything towards your midline as you go down into your lunge. And so this will really start to help get your glute to fire as you do that. So if you want, you can grab dumbbells. You could hold one, you could hold two. If you hold one, you could hold it right at your chest like a goblet. If you hold two, you could hold one on each side. It's just depending on what feels comfortable for you. So again, we have one leg forward, one leg back. Traction, pulling both towards the midline as you come down and as you come back up. Keeping your torso upright. Again, you're going to do 12 on one side and then switch and do 12 on the other side. Traction, and then coming down and up. That traction really will help to get that glute to fire and have the hip sit in the socket properly. So once you do 12 on each side, then you're going to go to do your reverse flies. So you're going to grab 2 dumbbells for that. And you could do this either seated or standing. If you do it standing, you're going to have your feet hip width apart. You're going to just loosen your knees and then let your hips sit back so you're in that good. So again, from here my feet are even. I'm going to loosen my knees, but then my hips are going to move back to get me into position. My lower core is strong, my head's in line, and then you're just going to fly the arms up, squeeze the shoulder blades in the back, come back under control. Squeeze, come back under control. Again, if you wanted to, you could sit and do that seated on a chair or a bench, and you would fold forward, drive through your feet. So so you have a strong base, and then you would just fly the arms out, come back under control. Fly out, come back under control. So again, you would do 12 of each of those. Go back and forth between those 2 to 3 more times, and then you go to the next exercise. So the next one is your staggered Romanian deadlift, or RDL. So staggered just meaning, so normally if you were to do like a single leg Romanian deadlift, your other foot is going to be moving. We're not going to have it move. We're just going to have a staggered stance so you can focus on the one leg doing what it's supposed to do. So this foot is just lightly on the ground, maybe next to your heel of the other foot. And then you're going to loosen the knee on this side, and then you're just going to shift back with your hips and come back up. So again, if you're here, lightly hold that other foot on the ground. Your weight is evenly distributed over your heel. You're going to loosen your knee. Everything's going to happen from your hip, and then you're going to come right back up. So again, you can use weights for this if you want to use 1 or 2 dumbbells. We're doing 12, so we're here, core is strong, loosen the knee, the hips go back, and then you come up. Come back, and then you come up. So you want to really make sure that you're driving through the leg that you're balancing on to push yourself back up, and that you're not pulling yourself up with your upper body. It should almost be as though your upper body is doing nothing. Everything is happening from your lower body. So you do all 12 on one leg, and then again you'll go to the other side, loosen the knee. Make sure that when you go back into this Romanian deadlift, you want to make sure that you're almost thinking about like parking a car in a lane. So when you're bringing that hip back, that hip should be going straight back. If there were lines on either side of your hip, you should not be shifting that hip into one lane or the other. It should be going directly straight back and then straight through. Okay, so that's really where our focus is, so we can really get that glute activation, hamstring activation for the Romanian deadlift. So after that, you're going to do Ys and Ts, so you'll come down to the ground. And for this one, you're going to be laying on the floor. Let's see. I might have to move back a little. So for this one, you're just going to have your legs relaxed. Your head is going to be relaxed. Your forehead will either stay on the floor or just maybe an inch up off the ground, whatever's more comfortable for you. Sometimes I think it's better if you just keep your forehead on the ground. So from here, you're going to have your thumbs up and your arms are in a Y position. You're going to relax your shoulders, and then think about your shoulder blades engaging first, so they're kind of squeezing, then the elbows lift, then the fists come off the floor, and then you lower back down. So the shoulders relax away from the ears, the shoulder blades pull together, the elbows lift up, then the hands come off the ground, and then lower back down. And you're going to think of that whole sequence every single rep you do. So you're going to do 10 reps of Ys first. So relax the shoulders, engage the shoulder blades, lift, and lower. Relax, squeeze, elbows lift, fists wrist, lift, and lower. So you do all 10 of those. It's a very small movement. If you feel, we'll go over this one together, but you want to make sure that you're feeling it in the right places and that you're not just throwing your arms up. That's not going to do you any good. So then we bring our arms out to the side, directly out to the sides, thumbs up again, forehead on the ground, relax the shoulders, squeeze the shoulder blades, and then lift up and back down, relax, squeeze, lift, and down. So you'll do 10 of those. Again, you're not really coming up very high off the ground. It's not how high you can bring your arms. It's about getting the activation in your shoulder blades. So So you really want to feel that in the lower traps, in that area back there, as you lift and get those arms to come out. You shouldn't be feeling any pinching or anything in the front of your shoulders or in your shoulders here. It should all be in the middle of your back to get those lower traps to really do the firing. Okay, so you'll go back and forth between standard Romanian deadlift and the Ys and Ts 2 or 3 times, and then you go to the last grouping, which is your calf, 2 up, 1 down, and then deadbug pushes. So 2 up, 1 down. Basically what you're doing here, you can find a wall or find something to hold on to. You're gonna go up with 2 legs, and then you're gonna lift 1 foot and lower down slow on the other leg. And you'll do all your reps on that same side, nice and slow back down, making sure that when you come up, you're not rolling your ankles out to the sides. When you come up, you wanna come directly straight up, and then you wanna come directly straight back down with your heel. Really try to avoid any deviation as you do that. So coming up with 2, and then coming down nice and controlled with 1. So do all your reps on one side, and then you'll do all your reps on the other. So again, coming up controlled, shift your weight, come down nice and controlled and slow. If you want, you could add weight to that as well, but I would definitely hold on to something to make sure that you're not wobbling all over the place. You want to get the contraction where it should be and not just fighting to control for balance. Okay, and then the last one in this grouping is your deadbug push. And so for the deadbug push, you're going to be on your back, your legs are going to be up at a 90-degree angle. You're going to take your right hand and press it into your left knee. Your left knee is pressing back into your right hand. Your lower abs are driving down into the floor. And then the opposite arm and leg are just going to go out a little bit and then come back in. So you're going to do 10 on one side. You come out. Try to get an exhale, and then inhale as you come back in. Full exhale. Inhale as you come back in. So you do 10 on this side. Again, the right hand and left knee are pressing evenly into each other as the opposite sides are moving. You're going to do 10 of those, and then you'll switch to the other side. So left hand presses into right knee back into left hand, and then the opposite side is going to do that. Extending out with the exhale. Inhale as you come back in. Exhale. Inhale as you come back in. And again, you're really making sure that you're getting your lower abdominals to stay engaged, pressing down into the floor. As you do that whole entire sequence, you want to make sure that that's engaged. So we want a little bit less of that upper ab activation, more of the lower ab activation. And let's see if I can give you a better angle here. So here, my lower abs, I'm focusing on getting those down. You might have to tap them a couple times to kind of get them to know what they're doing. And then again, we come out and back in. It's not about how low you can go to the ground. I would focus more on making sure you don't lose the lower abdominal contraction when you do that. A lot of times when people go lower, they lose the lower abs. So I'd rather you go higher with the arm and leg and keep the contraction than to try and go all the way down and then you lose the core, which defeats the purpose of the exercise. So go back through those calves and deadbug push and 2 or 3 more times, and then that's it for day 1. So enjoy and let me know what questions you have. Thanks.